sacrificed her own position to try and get her deal through.
Shame.
But does she appreciate that in doing so, she is asking us to place our trust in who will follow her? And looking at the likely candidates, I've got to say sincerely to her, she may have sacrificed her career to put the country first, but there are plenty of people who aim to follow her who've always put themselves first above the country.
Can I just say to the honourable gentleman, the numbers in this House will not change. The numbers across this House will be the same. The desire of this House to be able to have a greater role in the future will not change. I've made the commitment that I have in relation to the legislation in the Withdrawal Agreement Bill, in relation to the amendment from the Honourable Member for Stoke-on-Trent Central. This, in the next stage, it will be important that there is a greater involvement of Parliament to be able to ensure that as we move forward together, we get that right result for our country. But this is about our country. It is about our national interest. As I say, everybody will have to... I'll give way one last time. I'll give way to the Honourable Lady.
Thank the Prime Minister for giving way. The Prime Minister said this is about the country. But with respect, Prime Minister, that is not how it's seen. Brexit, withdrawal agreement, referendum has always been about the Conservative Party and its
This House across all parties voted for a referendum. This House across all parties voted to trigger Article 50. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. I forget, of course, that the Scottish National Party always have a different view on this because they want to stay in the EU, they want to stay in the Common Agricultural Policy, they want to stay in the Common Fisheries Policy. No good for Scottish fishermen and Scottish farmers. I had said I would give one last time, but as I've just referenced the SNP, I will give way to the Honourable Gentleman.
Well, it's some way to build compromise, Mr Speaker, but why did she never come forward to the Scottish Government and the Scottish National Party, offer wide sweeping reforms and devolution for employment law on welfare, for example, in order to give Scotland the power it needs to protect itself from the measures in her deal that it doesn't like? Instead, she stuck her head in the sand, and that's why she's got nowhere with the Scottish Government or the Scottish National Party.
To the Honourable Gentleman, the Government has given the Scottish Government extra powers, and they're not using them. Oh, except, of course, the power to increase taxes in Scotland more than in the United Kingdom. So I say to members this: if you want to deliver Brexit, this is the moment. If you're passionate about making sure that the United Kingdom leaves the European Union, back this motion. If you care about our union and want a deal that protects it, back the motion. If you want to honour the referendum but want Parliament to shape our future relationship, back this motion. It's the right thing for our country, it's the right thing for our constituents, and with all my heart I commend this motion to the House.
Order. The question is as on the order paper. As many as have that opinion say aye. Aye! Of the contrary, no. No! Division! Clear the lobby! Order. The question is as on the order paper. As many as have that opinion say aye.
Aye.
Of the contrary, no.
No.
Tellers for the ayes, Andrew Stevenson and Craig Whitaker. Tellers for the noes, Thangham Debonair and Nick Dakin. Lock the doors! Order! Order!
The ayes to the right, 286. The noes to the left, 344.
The ayes to the right, 286. The noes to the left, 344. So the noes have it, the noes have it. Unlock! Point of order, the Prime Minister.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think it should be a matter of profound regret to every member of this House that once again we have been unable to support leaving the European Union in an orderly fashion. The implications of the House's decision are grave. The legal default now is that the United Kingdom is due to leave the European Union on the 12th of April, in just 14 days' time. That is not enough time to agree, legislate for and ratify a deal, and yet the House has been clear it will not permit leaving without a deal. And so we will have to agree an alternative way forward. The European Union has been clear that any further extension will need to have a clear purpose and will need to be agreed unanimously by the heads of the other 27 member states ahead of the 12th of April. It is almost certain to involve the United Kingdom being required to hold European parliamentary elections. On Monday, this House will continue the process to see if there is a stable majority for a particular alternative version of our future relationship with the EU. Of course, all of the options will require the withdrawal agreement. Mr. Speaker, I fear we are reaching the limits of this process in this House. This House has rejected no deal. It has rejected no Brexit. On Wednesday, it rejected all the variations of the deal on the table. And today, it has rejected approving the withdrawal agreement alone and continuing a process on the future. This government will continue to press the case for the orderly Brexit that the result of the referendum demands.
Point of order, Mr. Jeremy Corbyn.
On a point of order, Mr. Speaker, this is now the third time the Prime Minister's deal has been rejected. When he was defeated the first time, the Prime Minister said it's clear this House does not support the deal. Does she now finally accept that the House does not support the deal? Because she seemed to indicate just now that she's going to return to this issue again. On Monday, this House has the chance, and I say to all members, Mr. Speaker, the responsibility to find a majority for a better deal for all the people of this country. Mr. Speaker, the House has been clear. This deal now has to change. There has to be an alternative found. And if the Prime Minister can't accept that, then she must go, not at an indeterminate date in the future, but now, so that we can decide the future of this country through a general election.
Point of order, Mr. Ian Blackford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We should all be aware.
The right honourable gentleman must be heard. Mr. Ian Blackford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We should all be aware of the responsibilities that we all have in this House, the seriousness of the situation that we are in. And I would say respectfully to the Prime Minister, she now has to accept that her deal has been defeated 3 times. And I applaud the members of Parliament on all sides that voted against the government's proposition. It is a bad deal, and we have to find a way out of the crisis that we are in. All of our constituents would expect that. We must give ourselves time, and I suggest to the Prime Minister, we now must look seriously at the option of revocation. We need to apply the handbrake to this process. And quite simply, Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister has failed to take this deal forward. She does not have the confidence of the House. The Prime Minister has indicated her departure. She should now go, and we should be having a general election.
Thank you. Yes, I'll come to the honourable lady. Point of order, Sir Vincent Cable.
On Monday, it is perfectly possible that the House may indicate a preference for one of the options such as a customs union or a confirmatory vote, which are, of course, compatible with the withdrawal agreement. If that is the case, is the Prime Minister then open to listening to the view of the House and considering how we might have a longer extension to explore them?
I think the question was perhaps to some degree a rhetorical inquiry. The right honourable gentleman has made his point, but further debate on these important matters will follow next week, and we'll leave it there. Point of order, Heidi Allen.
The Prime Minister must now seriously recognise this deal is over. And this House has a responsibility, a serious responsibility on Monday to find a solution to this impasse. There are jobs and livelihoods right across this country at stake now. The way out of this impasse, as many of us have been saying for months and months and months, we must have a people's vote now.
Point of order. Yes, I will come to the honourable lady first because I saw her first. Point of order, Caroline Lucas.